Hey, everyone. Angela O'Hare here, your favorite Las Vegas realtor.
Hey, what's up? I'm Rob Howe, Rockstar Realtor.
And welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to be going over, you guessed it, our monthly market update, right?
Yeah.
And in this title, I have Las Vegas homes for sale, shocking news.
Yeah.
Right? But before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to both of our channels, right?
Sure.
And
yes, please.
we always like to just briefly talk about what's going on with you, Mr. Rob. Hold on.
Huh.
Look, can you reach that?
Oh, do we have an on-air
On-air thing.
Un momento. Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
there you go. We're on the air.
All right. So what's happening with me? I've been busy, business is picking up, and we're going to talk about that, of course. It's been picking up actually for a little while for me.
Right.
And I actually getting kind of like a lot of work. And I played a show this weekend, which was wonderful. The 3-year anniversary of my little 2-man band.
Oh, wow. Yeah. 3 years already.
Yeah. Well, we didn't play a show until after well over the first year. So anyway, tennis districts playoffs start.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. Sorry, folks.
All right. So we may have problems with the pulling up the numbers to showcase on the slides because it's for some reason not uploading. But anyway, so you've been busy, business is picking up. And with me, I've been busy with remodeling my home.
Looks fantastic.
Yes. All new floors, all new doors, a new staircase. And then next is the bathrooms. And I should be done remodeling my home.
You're going to have to get Charles to get you on his show.
Yes. Charles, our photographer, does homes for realtors, or what is it called?
Yeah. He's doing like a cribs for realtors.
Yeah.
Mine was on there. I haven't seen my episode yet. It's getting done, but he sent me a little clip and it was pretty darn cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. The problem with selling real estate and selling new construction homes and touring the model homes all the time.
Yeah.
And plus, I am a HGTV fanatic. I want to do everything that everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
But I'm doing things that are trend, but for resale purposes, will sell my house in the future fast.
That's the way to do it.
Right.
It makes you happy every day, but you don't overcomplicate it to where like if you go to sell it, it's going to be like tough sell.
Yeah, I'm doing things that people want, like the 6-inch simple baseboards, the brand new 3-tiered shaker doors with the black accents.
Yeah. Those are going to look good for a decade more at least. Right.
Right.
So.
I mean, white door is basic.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, let's get started. So for the thumbnail, I had a vital sign that has the ups and downs, a flat line. Okay. So the reason I had it and why I'm saying shocking news is pretty much the Las Vegas real estate market for the last 4 months, when it comes to median price, has been flatline.
Yeah.
Has been stable.
Stability is the word for sure.
So that's why I'm saying shocking news, because every month Rob and I have been saying it's either going to be going up, expect things to be going up. And then we have the doom and gloomers out there saying the market is crashing, don't buy now. And we're saying the complete opposite of what everyone else is saying, right?
Well, we have been preaching, I think, reality, which is like, let's look, at the numbers as they come out every month and be,
realistic.
Realistic, and don't jump the gun to say that everything's falling apart, because we've known the whole time, as we've said over and over, interest rates are the number one thing, the only thing really that caused the prices to go down.
Right.
That and high prices, right? They met together, highest prices ever. Now, unprecedented interest rate hikes. But now, because Vegas has been, we've known it. It has this strength. It has this, people want to be here. So the last several months, we have been like, well, I don't think we're seeing this crazy. Now, we haven't said market's going up, but we have said that
I've been seeing that slight increases.
Oh, well, slight increase. And you're right, especially we'll talk about that.
Right.
There have been slight increases, but it certainly is not going down. Not in the manner
that everyone is saying.
Yes, like it's kind of crazy to see these. I want to call them out so badly, but I am seeing some folks, a local one in particular, that is changing their tune ever so slightly.
Yes,
to try to like in the future be able to say, okay, well, I was calling this. They have to be able to pivot a little bit because their information is becoming wrong.
Right. Well, the thing is that the interest rates haven't skyrocketed. On March 22nd, the Feds may have raised it a bit, but it's down in the 6%, right?
Yeah. Well, the bond market hasn't, made the rates shoot up like crazy. There again, it's in the range. It's tight for some people because of interest rates, as we know. But so the volume of sales isn't there. Right. We're not seeing like what we were volume wise, but because of what we're going to talk about next, which is very important. The number one thing that I think is important, we're going to get to inventory and talk about that.
Yes.
But because of that, you're seeing that the people that can get in and get involved, that might be, on the cusp or can do it, there is enough there to keep things stable, to keep, if you got a good, well-priced property, you're getting multiple offers sometimes.
Yeah.
So, what I just have been preaching that we're seeing stability. I think Vegas is the place that people want to be. This isn't like we are wishing something to existence. I think that's been our biggest difference when I look at other people. And there are some other responsible YouTubers out there in Las Vegas, but we have been like not wishy-washy. It's not like, oh, we are hoping this is going to happen.
Right. A lot of people base it off of nationally what's going on in the market, but you have to really look at it, and the numbers don't lie. And we go over this month after month after month of how the real estate market is going in Las Vegas. And based off of these numbers, you can assess a trend.
Clearly, especially when we get that 3-4 month trend, which you called sooner than I did by a lot. Right. As far as you thought, when inventory wasn't rising, when median price where it would start to stabilize, you started seeing that even before I did. I was buying into some of this crazy talk out there, and you're right. You have to almost look at it nationally, or my problem was that I was looking at it nationally because there are. If you were going to say that certain areas do have issues, you're right. Right. Certain areas of the country do still have more downward trend to go. I think Vegas is not in one of those cities. Right. And that's what we're going to prove here.
Yeah. Let's get started.
Yeah.
So for last month, there were 2,361 number of closings for the month of March, which is up 37.1% from the month before. And obviously down 27.8% from year over year. But of course, last year, this time, it was the most highest, craziest time ever.
Yes.
So to have a 37% increase from the prior month in sales, and what were we saying? It's going to be going up. And people were commenting on our channel saying, you guys are crazy. You guys are high. Get with the program.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to get with a program.
We're with our program.
Yeah. We want to see what's happening and call it as we're seeing it.
Right.
And,
we're not predicting what everyone else is saying from Redfin and this and that, because they're basing it off a national and not as a one picture thing going on. Okay.
It very much matters where you're at. And I did start talking about this a while back. I think I've mentioned it to you that I thought this goes back when we first started seeing interest rate changes. I thought to myself, and I know I said it, I don't know if I said it on here, but basically that we would start to see it used to be or was happening all over the country, the same thing.
Right.
then I realized, well, it's going to start to localize, and different things like in a traditional market are going to start happening. Nashville is going to have this happen. Arizona is going to have, Phoenix is going to have this happen. Vegas is going to happen. And California being such a big state, you'll see all kinds of different things happening depending on the
location,
area.
right?
That's exactly what's happening. Exactly what's happening right now is that dependent on the area, stay strong. It's like you could micro this down to just Vegas and say, okay, now you have Summerlin, Green Valley, you have
Henderson.
the different parts of you have the different parts of the city, and the strong will stay strong. Some of the areas that are not as strong are going to dip further than other areas. And you could actually, I get the title report where it
with
shows
appreciation.
it shows where those numbers. We do still have declining areas by a little tiny bit,
right?
And then we have what makes it you really stay stable is these other areas that stay strong, and that's exactly what's happening.
So for the median price, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, last month it was $424,900. So
$995.
$995. So in January it was $425. February went for $424,995.
Rough times.
$5 drop, and now
times.
we had a $5 increase. So relatively, what I'm saying is, since December of last year, December, January, February, March, 4 months in a row, we've remained flat.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, I've never seen that. Nearly 14 years in the business, and I've never seen a $5 decline, $5 increase.
Right.
Like it's just almost a definition of stability, or at least just holding nice flat levels.
And you know what? Yes, we know that the prices became outlandish. So what I'm going to show you is a chart from the Review Journal about the median price sales. We peaked in May at 482,000 in May of 2022. So as you can see, since then we have declined, but from December on, we have flatlined. We have remained the same. And I think from here on out, we've seen our bottom.
I believe so too.
And then as real estate goes, we're, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, I don't know, but I've been pretty accurate for a while now. It's going to slightly going up, maybe not as drastic as that hoop did, but it's going to slightly start going up.
So a couple things will be dependent on this, but I think for sure we're going to continue. This is a great chart, by the way. I think we could talk probably for a half an hour just on this chart,
right?
Because it signifies what was probably artificial,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, listen, it was real money that was going into our market, and that those people are going to be safe, even though they bought at that. A lot of those people. This is not a bunch of future foreclosures,
right?
Okay, I could talk on that for a few minutes, but I won't go down that road too far here. But I just want to say, then we had interest rate changes, kaboom, and unprecedented ones,
June and July,
right? Yeah, so unprecedented interest,
right?
But that's it. That's the only thing. You have this meeting of the extremely high prices, and
I don't think they can see you pointing the peak.
Sorry.
So peak of May and June.
Thank you. So you have that peak, that extreme peak, and then very shortly thereafter, the bam increases.
So I think this is where people think this is crashing, but we welcome that. To me, or us, it wasn't a crash, it was a correction.
It's definitely a correction, and it's based on one thing. Well, two things: high prices and unprecedented rate increases. Right. The reason why it is important to point out that we're not, look, we're sort of rooting for this because we're rooting for our clients and people to be able to get into this market. If it goes up and away, that's actually more problematic, in my opinion. Had we continued that May trend and continued on, this is why the Fed felt they could do this,
right? Because
this was happening all over the country.
Yeah, exactly. So let me remove that. With that being said, for the last 6 months, I always like to compare to show you where we were from a year ago. But before we do that, the median price, so it remained flat, but it's only down 7.6% from the prior year.
Which is like not nearly as much as I would have thought in my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
So March of 2022, the median price of single family homes was at $460,000. March 2021, it was $363,000. And in March of 2020, which is when the pandemic hit, it was at $319,000. Yeah. So we're nowhere near the 2021 or the March 2020 median price.
And this is what's important to me, because this goes back to what I could kind of expound on for a while, but I won't. I'll just briefly say that where we see if there was something artificial, the bubble, it was clear as a bell that it was in 2022, and that we have not slid even back to 2021
or 2020.
Or certainly not 2020.
Right.
So if you are somebody that has, bought in Las Vegas, it just shows your stability. It shows where you're at, especially if you bought pre 2021 and especially 2020 and earlier. And this is where, like, all along, I knew anybody talking about the crazy stuff that we've been hearing was really just crazy. They didn't understand the full picture, and they were just saying things because, oh, geez, I saw it happen in 2008. Well, just because you saw something happen in 2008 doesn't mean, number one, it's going to happen the same. It's really not.
Well, it's a whole different situation, and we've said that over and over in the past.
Yeah. Yes. So going forward too, just thinking about, okay, well, maybe these people, because the other argument is, oh, well, I'm not right yet.
Right. There's this one guy who doesn't follow us anymore, Air Jordan from Chicago.
Oh, poor guy.
He used to say, I told you guys. Everyone's like, yes. I told you guys. I predicted this 6 months ago. I told you guys.
Yeah.
We didn't say it wasn't going to go down.
Yes.
We welcomed a correction, but how much more is it going to go down where everyone in doom and gloom is going to say it's going to fall apart, where we're saying we're seeing stability and we're not seeing that falling apart.
Yeah. And so now you're just saying, oh, well, what some people are just saying is what I really meant was it's going to happen in the future. Okay. Now this is a piece of the pie that I could maybe bite into just by saying that, yes, shit happens, right?
Yeah.
Stuff can happen, but based on what we're seeing, based on what's there and available for us to understand and know without just putting our finger into the wind and trying to speculate, this is not likely. And even with a recession potentially looming, like a deeper recession, that's the whole thing. We've been in and out of kind of these mini recession stuff.
Yes.
But it's now, the question is, how will we go into something that affects employment and all this stuff? And so that could affect us. But we have been through when I say we, the housing market in Las Vegas has been through recessions and was not deeply affected.
Well, prime example is COVID.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was a
recession in a way, because no one was working and no one can afford anything. But soon as the mandate was lifted that everyone can go back to work in June of 2020, the housing market took off like a roller coaster.
Yeah. That was a little
and I think that's the only reason why we're in this housing market crisis is because of COVID.
There's absolutely, the COVID created a lot of ripples that we're still going to deal with for a while. But just speaking of traditional recession stuff, because I wouldn't necessarily call it a recession as much as a complete fear and panic moment.
Right. Well, that's where these people are now.
Yeah.
Everyone's in complete fear and panic because they're listening to the doom and gloomers out there.
Well, and many of them want to. Okay. Right. It's confirming a bias that they have, an emotional bias that people have, which is like, yes, I want this. And, I hate to say it, many of them are not even legitimate buyers in the market. They're
very true.
They are just hoping.
That's such a great point.
Everything caves to where they are they want to see that it's so freaking obvious.
They're not even homeowners.
I just have to buy something now. That, well, you know what? If you didn't do that in 2010, 2011, and then you're going to say, well,
or 2020, because remember that was the time to buy before 2021 and 2022 took off.
Yeah. Or even then, sure. So if you didn't do it in those times, I think, you're just wishy-washy. It's just like, well, who are we really dealing with? And as far as the people that would be wishing for these things to happen, look, everybody would want to take advantage of opportunities if they happen. Like, hey, somebody dropped $100 on the ground, nobody's around. I don't know whose it is. It's mine now. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take that. So yeah, if the market was to slide badly enough, I think everybody would want to take it. But knowing when to take advantage of that is the key. Not wishing for it, not thinking it's going to happen, saying it's going to happen, trying to put it into existence.
True. All right, folks, we're going to get finished up with the median price briefly, real quick. The median price in condos, which is another good sign right here, went from 200. Did I have it? No, I didn't write it down. It went up though to 260,000. It went up 2%, and it's only down 3.7% from the prior year. So condos and townhomes are holding steady, holding strong, because affordability purposes as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and this is something that I've been pointing out, is that what was happening in these price ranges is a compression of buyers, because they have been squeezed down from being in the looking at single family residence purchases,
right?
And now they still want to be buyers, so they're going to get in, and they're finding that with the limited inventory there, they still have to kind of compete for those properties that are any good.
So I find it interesting, though, in March of 2022, the median price for condos and townhomes was 270,000.
It's not far off.
It's not far off of where we're at right now.
That's that compression.
Here's some more shocking news for the luxury market. So there were a total of 112 homes sold in the month of March that were over $1 million, compared to February 72 homes. That is a 40 home sale increase in the luxury market. That's pretty shocking, in my opinion.
Yeah, that market, it has people that want to, buy, and they're trying to find homes, and there's, so stuff is getting sucked up. Look, you see this. If I have a buyer that wants to buy in Eagle Hills, guess what I have to do? I have to go or somewhere in a neighborhood that I know doesn't have any inventory. I have to go and mail all of those people and see if I can find somebody that's willing to sell their house.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a demand there in this luxury market. There's still these people. They're escaping California, folks. We know you're trying to get out of there. We know it.
Right.
So this is a part of that. And yeah, it's a great sign to see the luxury market.
Well, because it's been hovering around the 70s for a long time. So to have that
springtime
huge of an increase, So then their median price just slightly increased to 1.378 million. And in February, that number was 1.35193. So it's just a $32,000, roughly over $32,000 median price increase, but they had a lot of homes sold.
Yeah. And we know that number can fluctuate greatly.
So here's another shocking part. The number of new listings that was on the market last month. We had 2,565 new listings on the market for March, which is up 14.4% from February, but still 27.3% down from the prior year. So what that means is in March of 2022, we had 3,526 new listings. That's 961 more listings last year than this year.
Mm-hmm.
So what it's saying is, obviously, sellers are not, like we've been saying, coming out to play.
And this was okay. So last year, the sellers that wanted to sell couldn't wait to get their houses on the market.
Right.
And it was definitely a fantastic time to sell. The thing was that you still didn't have a lot of inventory from sellers that could even sell, that wanted to get involved there.
Right.
Many of them got a great deal on a property, but weren't going to go and move right away, and so on and so forth. So you weren't seeing a ton of that was creating that problem, if you will, that problem for buyers, which was the market going bananas.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a typical supply and demand. You have a huge demand and little supply. That's why the prices kept on going up. Because I don't know why the sellers weren't coming out to play as much last year, because they could have gotten top dollars. But then again, the same token is they had great interest rates.
Well, exactly. They had great interest rates, and because they want to stay in Vegas.
Right.
Many of these people are not. It's not as becoming as transitory as it used to be. I think that's part of it. There was a number of reasons why they weren't jumping to sell. Part of it was that, okay, well then if I sell, then what do I go buy?
Where am I going to go? Right.
Right. Even if I stay in Vegas, what am I going to go buy?
Well, if I sell and make this huge amount of equity, the houses are more expensive, even though I can still get a lower interest rate.
So some people were doing that.
Yes.
We helped a lot of people do that.
Yes.
But some people weren't. And now what you have is it's like they're just frozen in place. They're like, nah, I'm not. I don't want to. I don't want to have anything to do with a 6% rate.
Right.
I'm at a 3%, 3.5%, whatever I'm at. So they're not moving off of that.
Right.
Okay. So that's
so that takes us to the next thing. Even though we had a lot more listings last month, we also had a lot more sales.
Yeah.
So that takes us to the amount of inventory that is on the market for the month of March, and this is only single family homes, is 4,196. It has a 10% decrease from the month before.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Obviously 109.3% increase from the prior year. But last month we were at 4,665 inventory, and we've dropped almost 500 houses in a month.
That's the mind-blowing stuff right there, folks. The inventory is telling the tale just like it did last year,
right?
But in a different way this year.
So what does that mean when low inventory, and we just said it, low inventory, the demand is starting to pick up? What's going to start happening here in Vegas?
Yeah, there's I think
multiple offers.
It's already happening, by the way.
Yes. And prices are going to start going back up.
Prices could start going back up. I think there's enough pressure that it's not really going to shoot up by any. This is
drastic.
This is actually healthy.
Yes.
We're in that healthy zone of where, okay, the rates are high, so people aren't going to necessarily fight like crazy for their homes. They're not going to buy homes that are really need a lot lot of work.
Right.
And stuff like that.
Move-in ready.
Yeah.
Updated.
But it is creating this evenness, this even-handedness that's there. And so I've got bad news for buyers. You may be looking at a harder market to buy in as the months pass.
For resale.
To buy. For resale. Okay. So
all right, well, we'll get into that.
But I think the new homes have a problem, have issues too.
Well, all right. So we'll get
not
into
yet.
that.
Not yet as much.
All right. So we'll get into that in a minute. Let's just finish these numbers, and then we'll get into my thoughts on, I always have thoughts on new construction. So, which brings us to the months of supply.
And we got some, we'll get into some,
we'll get into some questions after we go over the numbers, because I got to keep this one online because he owes me some lunches, so we're definitely going to be going to lunch today. All right, so months of supply, right? Last month we were at 2.7 months of inventory.
Yep.
This month we're at 1.8 months of inventory. That's a negative 34.4% decrease. And obviously we're still slightly above last year at 190% increase, which, last year was because we had nothing. It was the inventory was completely decimated.
It was vacuumed up.
So then the time on market obviously has increased slightly. 49.6% of the homes on the market are on the market 30 days or less. But for the month of February, that was 41.1%. And last year, this time was 82.8%.
It's good to see that going in a different direction. I'm going to tell you why it's even as it's still at below 50%. And it has to do with that. Even that 1.8 months of supply, which is really still very, very low. There's a bunch of non-viable inventory within that.
True.
Okay. So some of that inventory is hanging around and making that number look like that would be a little higher, maybe up as high as 55, 60%. Some of that stuff is hanging around more than 30 days because it's not viable. It needs work. It's too high price, a lot of high price stuff.
It needs serious updates. Location's not great. You got issues and you're not in reality, and the buyers know it, and they're not willing to buy at a high rate right now for interest rate and have to fix up the home as eagerly as they were before. Right. And also what I'm seeing with a couple of my sellers, if you have solar, leased or financed, you're going to have a hard time selling that house.
And you're right about that. I've seen agents be a little bit shifty in this, where they're making it appear like the house has solar, but they're not explaining what the situation is.
Well, because one, the buyers have to qualify for either leasing or financing that solar.
Yep.
With that high 6% interest rate. Their mortgage payment's high. So why do they want to take on a loan of another $200+ a month on top of the high mortgage payment?
Yeah, it can make sense if they take a look at the power bill and all that, and it works with
True.
their with their credit and everything. But it's a little bit more of a rare case. And I got to be honest, some of these solar deals that have been done in the last few years are not deals.
No,
they're not good deals. Those leases, of course, they're my least favorite.
Yes.
And those sometimes have these deals in there where they've taken advantage of grandma in some cases, and she didn't know what she was signing on for. And grandma's now has a yearly increase on her rate because, power's going to go up. So naturally your increase on your solar is going to go up, but it'll still be less than the power.
Well, another thing too,
hold up, for a new buyer,
that gas has gone up tremendously.
Oh my God.
So even if you have solar, it's not going to compensate for the high gas prices that you have during the winter.
Well, that's true. It helps if you, the gas thing is crazy.
It was just, oh my God.
But if you think it's crazy here, look at California. California's hating it.
Right. So let's get to a couple questions, and then we're going to head into new construction and try to keep us on a timeline, right?
Yeah.
So wishful thinkers hoping they'll get a 4-bedroom in Summerlin. Yeah.
For $125K again?
Yeah.
It's exactly what they're thinking, Rusty Shackelford. It's exactly because they saw it happen once.
Right.
We saw it happen. It will happen again. Now it's like as if it's the like summer's going to come back around or winter's coming back around. It's like, no, that's the seasons that happen. This is the housing market, and it's not supposed to crumble every 10, 15 years. Okay.
Right.
It's going to have some things, but it's not going to.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Anyway.
You want to read Tinkerbell?
Tinkerbell, where are we at? I live in Henderson. All right. In a very nice area. My community has 100 homes. Many families own multiple homes here and have family members very close. It's a nice community. Homes have fallen by 30% since 5/22. Okay. I don't know about your 30% number there. That sounds a little.
Well, each number or each neighborhood is different. But if you look at it a whole, we had dropped from February to February 27%. So if she's saying as a whole,
okay.
So if she's saying 30%, then that seems realistic.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
In my opinion.
Listen, there's no doubt there was a steep decline. We're not talking about what has happened. We're talking about what is happening.
What's going to be happening.
Yeah. Is happening. What's going to be happening.
Because that decline was from an overinflated price from the spring of 2022, right? Because those prices were just highly inflated. Yeah. Right now we're back to reality, I think, and being more realistic and stable market.
Yes, 100%. So you have a community like that. Look for it to be more valuable in the future. You have nailed it if it's that kind of a community.
True.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it'll go back up.
Mm-hmm. You want to get Michael
a
there?
solar dude came to my house telling me I could transfer it to the next homeowner. I remember Rob said that the other week that he said had a hard time selling a house because it wasn't paid off. No, that was me.
Yeah. It might have been. Yeah, it might have been her. Yeah. The transfer is not as easy as they will make it sound. The salesperson isn't going to tell you that, hey, yeah, we'll transfer it, but they have to qualify on top of the loan that they're qualifying for.
Well, two is most buyers right now are asking for the sellers to pay off the solar in their offers. And sometimes some of these sellers don't have enough equity to do that. They would just make nothing.
Right. That's a big one right there.
And I mean, if you plan to stay in your home for 10 plus years, then getting solar is worth it. But if you plan on selling in the next 5 years, I don't think it's worth the cost.
I'm going to tell you what I think. With these rates right now, I don't think they can make solar a good deal. I'm not positive of that. So, do your homework if you're really interested in it. But if you're talking about the stuff that they were doing back when I got my system in 2018,
right?
If you get into a deal with an older system that was put in at a better time, that might be something that is very viable for you and something you should do. But these newer ones, especially in the last couple of years, and then they're going to go sell. And you're right. They don't have the equity. They can't just pay it off. So you're just going to have to transfer it over to the new buyer.
Yeah. And I want to do a video on it. To me, it doesn't make sense because you need to figure out what the average monthly electric bill was before you had solar. So say your average electric bill for every month was $300, right? So then you times 300 by 12 months equals 3,600. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How long is it going to take you to pay off that solar to equate? I mean, I don't know if I'm trying to make sense or how to figure that out mathematically.
Well, this is how they make it hard, because every solar system is a little different,
right?
And every house has the different output and usage. It can very much depend. And so you do need to know, number one, you said the first thing, you need to know what your average solar bill is. If you're buying into a system that will run more than what you need in power, and you're paying less than what your average was, then maybe it's worth it.
Right.
Okay. But, it is an equation that's kind of like.
But in reality, is it really free? Are you getting free energy? No, because you're having a monthly payment, loan payment, or lease payment.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not free. It's something that over time pays for itself.
Right.
And that's why I key into the idea that back when I got it, it was really low financing. And even the deal that you got from Nevada Power was a better kilowatt transfer rate that you were getting for when you gave them the power. Mm-hmm. And if you go even further back and get grandfathered into the original plans, well, those are the ones you really want to get in on, because you are getting free power.
So if you want to buy a house with solar, make sure that it's paid off.
You got to look into it.
You got to do your due diligence and investigate it. Anyway, you want to read the next question?
Sure. Again, what is more desirable right now at Red Rock Country Club or Anthem? I know I have my answer. You go ahead.
Well, it depends on, I don't think one is more desirable than the other. I think it just depends on where you want to live in the Las Vegas Valley, because both of them have beautiful amenities and both of them are very beautiful. So I'm not going to pick one over the other.
To me, it's a little bit easy, because I think Summerlin, just plain old and simple, is a nicer area overall than being over in Anthem. But
it's very beautiful in Anthem.
It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But for me, it's an easier choice, just because the literal
amenities.
Well, the amenities, and literally the best performing area in all of Las Vegas is Summerlin. So technically speaking, it is the highest, equity area in all of.
But those pockets, those little pockets in Henderson, the Seven Hills, the Anthem Country Club. I mean, it's very exclusive in there.
Yeah.
And so again, my answer is whatever. If you like Henderson, then Anthem is beautiful. And if you like Summerlin, Red Rock Country Club is
I just happen to, I play tennis at a Red Rock Country Club. I know a lot of people.
Right.
That's going to be an easy one for me, but that's almost pointing to your answer, which is you got to go with what vibes you, right? Like what really kind of hits you. So if you're thinking of either of those, you got to check them both out and make your decision. That's another thing we do. We don't make our clients' decisions for them.
Right.
We
have to show them.
Yeah. We don't tell you, we show you. Right. Here's what it is.
All right. Let's take a look at Anthem. Let's take a look at Red Rock. And then you make that executive decision. We can only show you and point out the differences between the two. And then you come
counsel a little bit.
Exactly.
We might, you're obviously, for me, you're going to get, well, I really like it over here for these reasons.
Right.
But I'm also going to look at, like you would, what their position is, what's important to the client, and what matters to them as far as what they need: the schools, the churches, the amenities, where they work, all of these things. Anthem may be a much more logical choice to certain people. So
my opinion, though, and I'll put my 2 cents in on that real quick, and then we need to move on. I love that area, but to get to Anthem from the freeway, that's my
big bone.
To get to shopping there, you have to go on Eastern, and it's crazy. So to me, it feels very claustrophobic.
So exactly. And you pointed something out I almost was going to forget, because that is something about going to Red Rock. Lifelong Las Vegas, and you've been here a long, long time too.
Right.
We get spoiled. We want the easy.
Access.
We're not from LA where, we're used to 40-minute drives all the time, or more than 40 minutes. So if you're from a place that you go a long way, it's not going to bother you to go to Anthem at all. But for me, that Red Rock is right off that freeway.
Yeah, that's right there.
And like going on Eastern to get to Anthem, or even taking any other alternate
15
route to St. Rose.
Yep.
I mean, first of all, you drive that 15 to St. Rose at night, and I'm like ready to nod out. You know, it's a long straight drive.
And if you take the 95 to Eastern, you have to go all the way down Eastern, and
Eastern is just a cluster F. I mean, it's just so. Anyway. Yes, it's beautiful when you're there.
You have to do the pros and cons and see for yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Michael says, the other Michael says that he told them, kick rocks, and I didn't, but I said I wasn't interested. Good. Yeah.
I even though I have solar, I get all the calls still, and I don't really give them any time. But if they actually do get into it with me, I just briefly want to know, okay, so what are you talking about here? And very quickly, I'm like, God, that's not a good deal for anybody right now.
Yeah. Right. You want to read Rusty's?
Rusty, all right. I wonder if I can sell a service just like solar, but with no solar. Give me $30K today, and I'll pay you back like $125 a month for the rest of your life. Great scam. Yeah. Well, hey, listen, like I said, solar deals of the past were real deals. I don't know about right now.
Right. All right, folks, that's it for the market update. We're going to get into building or new loan
new
construction.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm going to read what I saw in the Las Vegas Review Journal, and then we're going to go over incentives, and I'm going to go over my thoughts on new construction. So the builders logged 874 net home sales on newly signed purchase contracts minus cancellations in Southern Nevada in February, which is up 32% month to month, according to the Las Vegas Home Builders Research. So for me, being up is good. However, sales still were down 23% from February in 2022. So they're up from month to month, but they were down from February. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. All right. So builders' consistent price drops during the second half of the year have mostly stopped, and many builders are beginning to slowly increase them once again. He noted, this guy from the president, Andrew Smith, noted that builder sales incentives and now sliding inventory on the resale market have helped draw buyers to the new subdivisions. But people who want a newly built house have fewer places to shop than they did last year.
Yeah.
So my thoughts are, because of the declining inventory on the resale side, the buyers are going to start, the builders are going to start picking up because there's no inventory.
Yeah.
And so the builders are going to be picking up. They do have right now, and that's why we've been saying now or then was the great time to buy, because of all the incentives that the builders were offering.
You called it. Another thing that Ange called before me, she was way in the know on this one. She said that the builders were a deal. I said, let me see that. I've never seen it before. And you were nailing it, because what they were doing and still somewhat continuing to do was unprecedented.
Yes.
I never saw it before.
They're still doing it, but they have to get rid of the quick move-in homes that they overbuilt for 2022, boosted,
They had fallouts. They had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So,
right. So once those are done, you may get some incentives like 3% towards closing costs.
Better
interest rates, not as much. But on a quick move-in home, that's where the deal is to be made.
That's your 3-point shot.
Because right now, I'm going to be doing these videos soon. Up in Trilogy Sunstone, there's quick move-in homes. They have 80,000, 100,000 in upgrades. You're getting it, discounted. Yeah. Huge discounts. Plus, they're giving you 20,000 towards closing costs. So again, you need an experienced agent that knows where to find the deals. But once these quick move-ins are done, they're going to start from scratch, 7 to 10 months building, and you're not going to get the discounts because you're putting in those upgrades.
Yep.
You're not going to get the discounts off the upgrades.
I have to ask you a question and see how you answer this. So what about the person that says, okay, so all of those incentives they're giving to people is the proof positive that they are desperate, that the builders are desperate and they just want to sell these homes, get you locked into a home to sell a declining value asset?
I don't think they're desperate. I think because they have a lot of skin in the game from the last 2 years or
Ding, ding,
3 years
ding.
of increased value, that
Okay.
they don't have a lot to lose. So they can afford to go down in price because they were overinflated to begin with.
That is perfect answer. And listen, obviously, I kind of knew the answer. I mean, not that we even spoke about it prior,
Right.
but this is a kind of an answer that I would give too. Not just because it's something that we're trying to hold up. We're not trying to hold up and say, "Hey, yeah, no, it's really good." No, this is reality.
Right.
They did really well, and they had equity. Basically, they may not have expected what they got in the last couple of years,
Right.
and so they had a little something to play with. The thing was, though, they're in the business to move inventory. Okay.
Right. And so what's happening now, and I did a video of all this new construction coming soon, and I'm seeing it as this report says, builders are starting to increase the prices again.
I saw it. I've been out at new homes, and that's why early on when we briefly spoke about it, I said, I don't know. I think the tide is changing. I think that if you don't get in soon to get in on some of these builders' incentives and get some of the, buy a standing inventory home, you're not looking at a home that you can go and buy in the new homes as easily.
Right. Especially the new communities that just open, where you're going to get a phenomenal deal is those ones that are closing out, that are almost at their last lag. Yes, granted. Maybe, but granted, yes, the prices are really high, but you're probably going to get in the prices that were from the 2 years ago when they started out. That's how good of a deal you can get.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I'm seeing that. I mean, I went back over to the Arches, Lennar.
Yeah.
They've increased it 2 or 3 times since.
When we started out, when they opened up, they were at 1.3 million just on one of the models. Now all the models are over 1.4 million at the Arches.
Only one of them is still in 1.4. The others are 1.5.
Yeah.
So, and this is now. Listen, this is important to understand that these we call them product. Okay, that product is a very specific product that's very popular. It's got the Gen X suites on all of them. And
Right.
even though they're in above 1 million price range, they're in a sweet location.
Well, they're 3,800 square feet houses, 3-car garages, Tesla solar already on it, 2 Tesla charging stations, 2 tankless water heaters. I mean, the list is endless. And these ones do come with the upgraded monogram appliances, a high-end Sub-Zero refrigerators.
They're impressive. Yeah. They're nice. They're very, very nice. And because of those Gen X suites. So those are highly sought after. You can go in the luxury market, and good luck finding those properties right now. Good luck finding one like that.
Right.
Okay. So because I know.
Well, a lot of the luxury market doesn't do the next gen suites like Lennar does.
You got to build one on your own.
Yeah.
You got to do something to have a casita or whatever,
Yeah. So what my point is that now, and I say this, and I've been saying this, if you want a new construction home, don't wait to the end of the year. Don't wait till the summer. If you want a steal of a deal and you like the area, and you can still get incentives, which we're going to go over, is the time to buy new construction.
So that's what I'm saying, is that I think this is you're in a declining opportunity zone here.
Right.
I would put a caveat on that. Generally speaking, if you look at the end of the year, you could maybe do the best deal you can make. I don't know if it'll be the best deal of the year. But sometimes,
I think that's usually more resale than new construction. Well, new construction, because they're trying to make their numbers for the end of the year.
I'm just going to put that caveat there.
Right.
But not a lot of people that's comfortable for them to do. That's why that happens at that time of year.
Right.
So in this zone right now, really the next, what are you thinking? Month or two that they're going to?
I would say till July.
Till July. But then you have the oncoming potential for any rate changes. And I'm thinking potentially.
Maybe June.
Potentially during the summer, we could see a rate decrease. If that happens, folks, there will be pent up demand.
Lesson was learned when the Fed kept on raising the increase. What happened? We had global bank issues. There's some right now, as that's settled in, there's some different opinions on how they're going to go about it. So we don't really know. It seems to be waiting towards, the weight is towards they're going to lower sooner than later. Right.
But there's some talk of waiting till September. I still think it'll be sooner than later, especially if they see the inflation numbers, which are coming out, I believe, this week, that they want to see. Let's cross our fingers, folks. because we just want to get back to healthy.
Yep. All right. Real quick, we're going to breeze through this. So Taylor Morrison, they have phenomenal deals going on right now. Their first year, if you use their in-house lender on quick move-in homes, the first year you get 2.49% interest rate. The second year you get 3.49. The third year you get 4.49, and then from 4 through 30 you get 5.49%, which is even still better than the interest rate
It sure
now.
is.
Which in 5 years or 4 years, who knows what's going to happen? You can refinance.
The clear objective there is to try to refinance prior to getting to that 4 to 30 year.
But to have your first payment at 2.49, even 3.49 and 4.49 is still phenomenal rates. So that's why I'm saying, and this is why the sellers aren't selling, because they're in direct competition with the builders. Even if you don't have a new construction home by you, the sellers can't. I mean, really.
That's a harder one for the lenders to compete with on that.
And not only are they offering these great interest rates, they're also offering closing costs, like paying the closing costs,
which smart sellers are expecting and willing to do if they want to get the top price. Now, the thing is that if you're selling a resale and you want to get the top price, you might need to price in that I'm going to have to pay some of that cost.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And sellers don't expect, the key is to price at or below market value so you can get your home sold fast. Gone are the days for sellers to be listing over value.
Well, those are the ones that are
on the market forever.
That's the stuff that's hanging around, and or there are the exceptions, but you may know it if you know you got one of those amazing homes. There are the exceptions. If you've got a home that's just hitting all the bells and whistles, okay, maybe you can go for a little bit more, but talk to your professional about that and really talk to them. Don't just, shine them on. Listen to what they have to say.
Right. So next is Toll Brothers, and you get 3.99% for the first year and a 30-year fixed rate with a 2-to-1 buy-down program for a limited time only on select move-in ready homes when you use their in-house lender. So basically what that means, the first year you get 3.99. The second year you get 4.99. And from years 3 through 30, 5.99.
Not as good as a deal as that first one, but it's Toll Brothers. So
but you got to figure though, these aren't on the jumbo loans. So if you do buy a high-end Toll Brothers home, you're gonna have to put a good chunk down in order to qualify
it's Toll
for
Brothers.
that.
They were never in the deal giving business here.
Yes.
This is about as deal as you're gonna get.
Yeah. And then for Pulte, their special financing is a 30-year fixed rate at 4.99% on all their quick move-in homes when you use their in-house lender. And you have to get into a contract after 3/31 and close by 5/31. Again, you have to put 20% down with a FICO score of 780 and a debt to income ratio of 40%.
So that, obviously you got to meet that criteria, but this is the very simple. Hey, get a rate about a point or more less than what's the going rate.
Right.
And voila.
Right. So as you can see, ever since the builders have been doing this, their numbers have picked up.
Absolutely.
So all of this inventory is going to be gobbled up soon. And then you're going to be
math.
It's going to be in the traditional builder market, right?
Yeah,
right.
It's math, folks.
So Richmond American, and the only reason a lot of these builders did these quick move-in or move-in ready homes was because of supply chain issues as well.
Yeah.
Because we were having such they're trying to get ahead of it to have these homes ready. And I like selling move-in ready homes. I mean, I can sell them left and right all day long.
Yeah. Well, isn't it just wild to interject? Did you see that guy that came into town pointing out all the homes being built? What a moron that guy. Oh.
It made it look like we were a ghost town and there's all these houses. But the only reason that it looks like so many houses is because they're, the standing inventory that they're prepping, or they're just people bought them and they're ready to be built.
Being built. Yeah, they're being built for people. Oh my goodness, that guy was so moronically wrong. It just still hurts my head. Yeah. Anyway,
so Richmond American, for homes that close on June 30th of this year, for FHA and VA, you get 4.875 finance rate or fixed rate, and then for a 30-year conventional, it's at 5.375. And those you have to go under contract on or after March 16th and close before June 30th.
Oh, that's cool.
And you have to again use their in-house lender. Then we have Tri-Point Homes, and they finally started to come back into the game because for a long time, Tri-Point didn't have many incentives. So again, this is for their select move-in ready homes by locking in a limited time below market conventional 30-year fixed rate to 321 buy down with a first year interest rate of 3.5, as well as other benefits on brand new homes. So basically the first year you get 3.5, the second year 4.5, the third year 5.5, and then years 4 through 36.5. And by then you can refinance.
Yeah, they were obviously not overbuilt, not desperate, so they didn't have to get into the game. And now they're even still showing that sign because their ultimate interest rate is still not like that's maybe about where you can get it right now, or maybe even above. Like you'd have to check, but that final interest rate for Tri-Point.
Right.
But that's just showing that they're not desperate. They don't need you, but they want you.
Right. And to receive this incentive, you must enter into the purchase a contract on an eligible home site from March 22nd to April 30th. So, and you know what? Each month, these builders have new incentives. Sometimes they're worse than others. So a couple months ago, they had a better financing program. So that's why I'm saying, and that's what I've been saying.
And I'm sure you got called, like,
many names.
You're just trying to make money. You know?
I'm greedy. I'm dishonest. And
can you imagine the people that you helped?
But anyone that has, as my clients know me, I am the most honest person, most trustworthy person that anyone can ever ask for. You know what I mean?
Besides me.
Besides you. I'm not a liar. I'll tell you like it is. I'll tell you the truth and I'll give you my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I don't. The words "trust me" don't exit my mouth. I want to earn that. That's the way we do it, and we do that by sometimes, saying things that would be counter to our personal interests, because what matters more is the long term. And then when you treat people that way, it always pays off.
Well, I'm a karma person, so I always firmly believe that. Treat people how you want to be treated, and what goes around comes around.
It does.
And I want to put good karma out in the universe because it's always going to come back to me. And I know I'm a hippy dippy person, but that's what I believe.
Well, those are the people you want to work with.
Right. Last is KB Homes. And this is on all their homes. If you use their in-house lender, and KB is not known for doing these interest rate programs. So this is good. Lock in the 4.99%. while it's being built, the 7 to 10 months up to 270 days. So that's a fixed 4.99% interest rate is very good.
It's perfect for somebody who's concerned about rates staying high longer or even going up.
Right.
So there you go.
So if you want to learn more about these quick move-in homes and a list of them, contact Rob or I. I've also posted a link in the description below to the blog post. Once I actually am done with this video, and maybe after lunch, I'll actually put the link of the blog post.
Yeah.
But most importantly, any questions right now, because we're getting into bets and we're going to try and wrap it up. Nothing new. Okay, good. So, bum.
Yeah, did I get them all wrong? Jesus.
We're on a roll. I'm on a roll. All right. So we're going to get into the bets and then we're going to sign off. We're going to try to get this done in the next few minutes. So for medium sales price, Rob said that we were going to have $1,000 increase. And said $1,000 decrease, and it increased by $5.
Well, I said a decrease. Yeah, you said
I said increase.
I said $1,000 decrease. You said
$1,000 increase.
Yeah.
So $5, even though it's $995 off, I still won the bet because
both of us were $995.
Oh, true. So no one wins that one. Yeah. So that's how it was last month too.
That is true. So we have a statistical tie on that one, I think.
So no one really won that bet. But
you said increase, and it did increase.
It did increase.
That's the win on that, I think.
Without offers, Rob said $3,999. I said $4,000, and it was actually $4,196. So I came closer because you played the prices right on me on that one. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just barely. Well, we saw it coming. But had we been able to do the math in our mind, we would have realized how much we were actually saying it would drop.
Yeah.
Because it would have been like 1.5 or something. But anyway, Good
True,
call.
true.
Yeah.
So months of supply, Rob said 2.5. I said 2.6, and it was at 1.8. So Rob came closest.
Yeah. And that's why I'm saying, have we
Well, I
done the
played the
math?
prices right with you. Yeah, if we actually did the math and really sat
I
down
couldn't
and
do it
thought
in my
about
head
it.
at that time. But
Right.
yeah, if we had, we would have been like, whoa, that's going to be only this much
Right.
increase. Okay.
So now
So
we
now,
are
lots
going
of lunch.
no, let's go
Okay.
for the numbers for next year. And then so last time you went ahead, so I'll go first on the medium sales price. So we have been stable for the last 4 months at 425. We know that the market is picking up, right?
Mhm.
Slowly, slightly. I still think we are going to have increase. Obviously, my $1,000 increase has been incorrect for the last couple months, but at least it is an increase, right? I'm going to stick with my $1,000 increase.
All right. Damn, this is a tough one because I think it is going to be right around anywhere from 500 to 1,500. Like you're just right in the middle of that. And my only question is whether just to go below you or to go just barely above you.
Right.
Oh man, that's tough. Let me think here. Let me think. I'm gonna go just below you. I'll just go ahead and go 995. And just prices really prices right the hell out of you.
$950 decrease
No,
or increase.
I'm gonna say
So-
it will. I think it'll increase.
Just
but
slightly
marginally.
$950.
Yeah, I think it might be marginally, and so my best bet is to stay close to you because if I say 500 and then it lands at 750 or something, then you win that one. So,
Right.
All right.
All right. So months of supply, you get to go first on
Months
that. Or
of
without,
supply-
I'm sorry, without offers.
Without offers. God, I think we're gonna stick right around where we are. Yeah, I'll go with 4,100 and just stick it right there.
All right. 4,100.
Yeah, 4,100. I'm seeing the 7-day kind of stay about even. So
Well, if we have the same amount of increase and the same amount of sales, we had a $600 decrease in inventory.
yeah,
So with that logic, because I'm a very logical person,
it's gonna go down.
it's going to go down,
Mhm.
and I'm going to say 3,700.
All right. Well, that gives us some margin, so that'll be
Yes.
a fun one.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be right in between that.
Wait, 37. So 42. Let me just do the math because I can't think.
It's 400.
4,200 minus 37 is 400. 500. I'm going to do 38. All right, 3,800.
Okay.
Now,
Months of supply.
months of supply. Actually, I think I'm first now.
Are you? No, I went first last.
No, I went first on this.
Oh,
You went
yeah,
first
you're
on
right.
that, so now it's my turn.
You're right. You're right.
Because I want to beat you before you prices right me on that.
Okay.
I'm very competitive, folks. All right. So it's at 1.8, and if I go with my logic of going down more, I'm going to say 1.6 months of supply.
Okay. My goodness. I think my only option here is to just go ahead and prices right you on 1.7.
Okay.
I do believe it'll go down a little bit, but maybe
Well,
not.
because it went from 2.1 to 1.8, so I'm using the same logic.
Yeah.
Um,
Even if it goes up a little bit, the market is really in great shape. But that's I'd have to check. I've been looking at the 7-day every week, and it's really staying quite similar. There is just a little bit extra inventory on some of the 7 days, so I'm wondering if it'll pick up just a little bit.
Well, we tried to stay under when we were pretty close to it for an hour. Let us know in the comments what you think. You know, I hate when people write negativity on my channel because I'm not a negative person. If you have anything to say, then it better be something nice to say. And if you have negative opinions, then keep your negative opinions to yourself. Because time and time again, I don't think that, one, we're not greedy. Two, if you look at the data and if you look at the numbers, we've been pretty spot on with our predictions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's not
I
because
mean,
we're greedy
through the
agents and we
years,
don't know
too.
what's going on. We're dumb. I mean, we've been pretty accurate.
We've been really accurate. Really, really accurate. And I'm going to say that not necessarily individually. It's a teamwork, because over the last 2 years, like, there were certain things that I was kind of like seeing.
Right.
And then over the last year, you've been like nailing this, seeing this stuff. So we work. Why we do this? Why we find this valuable is because the two of us in our mind, we're going to see things just slightly differently, but that gives you an even opinion ultimately.
Right.
We're not always going to be in sync on
but
everything.
For the most part, we're yin and yang, and we have our ebb and flow, and we have some we agree and some we don't agree, but for the most part we're in the same
world here.
Yes.
We're not coming from way different spaces here, but I'm just pointing out that you get a little better opinion by having two people that do see things slightly differently,
right?
And then come together and go, is that correct? Are we seeing this right?
Exactly.
So that's a big value, I think. So
perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for watching.
Yes. Rock on
and do it peacefully.
And we'll
see you on the next one.
Update for May.
Updating.
We may see you in May.
In May for April.
Updating.
Peace out, folks.